Good morning, and thank you for joining us for the live launch of Alibi Cloud VS. My name is Bill Rogers, and I'm the Vice President of Sales here at Alibi Security, and we're excited to launch this new solution with you today. First, a few housekeeping items. If you're joining us via PC, you'll see two views on your screen. To change either one of those views or make them larger, just simply slide that slider in the middle. If you're joining us via mobile device, just swipe either left or right and choose the selection that you'd like. We have a lot to cover in a short amount of today, so I want to go over our agenda with you. Keith Becker, our Senior Product Manager who led the development of the Alibi Cloud VS solution with the partnership of Eagle Eye Networks, will be monitoring today's event. He's going to spend about 40 minutes covering the features and benefits of Alibi Cloud. Then he's going to walk you through the solution itself and share with you how to access tons of marketing resources that we've created for you to position this solution to your clients. As you know, our goal at Alibi Security is to partner with you at growing your business, and we truly believe that Alibi Cloud is the solution for that. Lastly, we're going to finish with a 10-minute Q&A session. In your GoToWebinar app, there's an area for you to type questions. Now, if you have a question, simply send it over. Now, with the overwhelming attendance that we have at this event, we'll get to as many questions as possible, but rest assured, if we don't get to your question, we're going to reach out to you individually and make sure we answer every single question. Additionally, we will send all attendees an email following this webinar that include links to additional online content, FAQs, and other helpful resources. And lastly, if you'd like a live demo of Alibi Cloud VS, simply reach out to your account manager and they'd be happy to walk you through the solution. All right, without any further ado, Keith Becker.
Thanks, Bill, and thanks everyone for attending today. Thank you for the opportunity to introduce the Alibi Cloud VS security option for you in this webinar. So first, if you're new to Alibi Security, I'll tell you a little bit about our business. We've been in the industry since 1989, servicing customers for video and audio surveillance solutions, access control, and now cloud-based video systems as a service. We're a little bit different than your traditional security distributor and reseller. We value growing your business, not just providing you product. So we spend a lot of our time investing in things to help you with sales support, with dedicated reps, direct technical support that's located here in Austin, Texas, as well as additional professional services where we will help you design systems, networks, we'll pre-configure products for you so that when it arrives, you know you've got the right solution in hand. Lastly, we also do some very unique marketing services and lead generation that we believe is unparalleled in the industry. So if you haven't checked out our dealer program, please contact a salesman after this presentation to learn more about it. So as Bill mentioned, we have partnered with an industry leader for this cloud platform. We are lucky enough to have some of their key leadership members here today joining us, so thank you for attending and thank you for the ongoing support. If you don't know anything about Eagle Eye, they were started in 2012 and they're one of the global leaders in cloud-based video surveillance solutions. A couple of years ago, they acquired a complementary product from Europe called Camera Manager, and that's the platform we've been heavily working with them on to develop the Alibi Cloud's VS security solution. So today's agenda, we're going to cover a little bit about the VSaaS market, just so you can understand the size of this market and how it's going today and in the future. Next, we'll do a brief overview of the actual Alibi Cloud VS platform itself, show you a few of the example screenshots of the system, talk about how we get it deployed right out of the gate, form account creation and billing management. We'll give you some of the benefits of why your customer may want to consider the solution and why it benefits you to sell it to them. Next, we'll finish out with some common applications so you know what markets this may be best suited for, show you where you can get some sales and marketing support, some next steps for follow-ups after our session today, and then we'll do Q&A right at the end. So to give you just a snapshot into the VSaaS market, this is a growing segment in the security industry, and it has been growing for quite some time. For almost the last 4 years, you're seeing almost 30% annual year-on-year growth for this type of a solution. By the middle of 2020 to 2021, we're projected to be close to $3 billion in solutions. So why cloud? Why talk about it today? This just gives you kind of a brief glimpse on this demand is growing, the solutions are being requested. And with the Alibi Cloud platform, we're hopefully going to allow you to get into this piece of the market. So to introduce a solution, so Alibi Cloud VS is what we call the true camera to cloud surveillance solution. And it does just that. Cameras are installed. They then stream and store surveillance footage directly into a secure data center. And we've worked very hard with Eagle Eye to make this a cutting edge, simple, scalable, and secure video solution for you. So talk about simple. So these cameras have very specific firmware loaded on them before they ship out. That firmware then allows them to talk to the cloud, allows them to get to the account securely via encryption, and then start to store the video once they're installed. Account creation happens in terms of the administer account before your text or you even get on site. So whenever you get to the installation location, all you're doing is putting cameras on the network, opening up one of the software platforms to get the system set up. And as soon as you add those cameras, billing starts, recording starts, and you're off and running. To make it simple, the interface then is all managed from a client application or mobile app, and that allows you to do full credential management, camera management, all from a single user interface that makes it very simple for you to learn and for your customers to learn. Scalable, because this is taking advantage of cloud computing, we can also scale the solution at any time. You're not having to worry about putting an on-premise recorder that has dedicated resources with channel limits or with CPU limits that may restrict how many cameras you can or can't add at any given time. Typically, on-premise solutions also have limitations when it comes to total number of concurrent users, total number of bandwidth streams or concurrent streams coming out of the platform. This kind of eliminates all of those requirements. We can add an unlimited number of cameras to an account. That can be at one site, or it can be at sites rolled across, a state, a region, the entire country. And with that, you can create unlimited users, and all those users can have concurrent access to whatever cameras you've given them permission to see. And secure. So we do take advantage of Eagle Eye's vast knowledge in building out data centers. Their data centers are certified to be Tier 4. And what Tier 4 means is you get a lot of additional redundancy and cybersecurity built into the system that normally small businesses don't even get to take advantage of. So to reach Tier 4 status, you can see the bullet points listed out. You're going to have end-to-end data encryption. So the moment the camera gets connected, its stream is encrypted, the files are encrypted, and they're stored securely with 3 times automatic data redundancy. So RAID is built into the solution. So the likelihood of you losing video is drastically reduced. To meet the Tier 4 standard, you also have to be up at 99.95% of the time. So the likelihood of not having availability to get access to the system for live view or for recorded video is almost near to none. With that, you also get some fault tolerance inside infrastructure that you don't have to worry about maintaining. You're not setting up secure IT rooms that have to maintain storage servers, climate controls. It's all done for you in the data center. And lastly, with that, you do get additional cybersecurity and software update, ease of use and advantages. It's a central system. So when software is updated, it's an automatic push to every customer on the platform. When cybersecurity patches are created or bugs are found, those get automatically updated without you having to go on site, without you having to maintain any type of on-premise recording solution. It's just part of the system. With that, we also host camera firmware when it's available in the data center. So you actually get prompted in the software that camera's firmware is available, and you can, with the push of a button, update all the cameras. That's something that gets overlooked quite a bit from our tech support calls. Most people are very good about maintaining the head end and the firmware and the software updates on a regular basis. Cameras sometimes get forgotten about, and people forget that those are edge devices that are computing the video. We allow that to happen from the cloud in a very fast and easy, secure way. So this is a subscription model. It is a cloud-based platform, and the subscriptions are, they vary depending upon what you want. We offer 2 recording solutions today. We have a 720p plan and a 1080p plan. Those plans are rated out by number of days and number of cameras. So you can start off with 7-day recording. You can then upgrade up to 14, 30, 90, or up to even a year or beyond, depends on what you need. The benefits to the subscription plans are they're all inclusive. So you get unlimited system access. There's not a limited time amount that you have to look at your live view per day. There's not a limited time in terms of how many clips or something you can look at or store. We record 24/7 in those plans. You can always set it for event-based recording, but we plan these out with Eagle Eye so that if you want 14 days, we're going to plan that out for 24/7, no video lost, which is a little unique compared to how some of the competition does it. So now that you kind of know kind of how it's built out and kind of what we lead the product to be. We'll go through the user interface. The user interface is separated out between desktop clients and mobile apps. The desktop client's available for Windows and Mac OS X. The client is the same between both platforms. So if you've got users that are mixing between hardware, you get the same experience regardless of what you're using. Same thing on the mobile apps. They're available for Android and iOS, and it's the same app regardless of the other platform you're on. Some key advantages you get from the user interface, at least from the desktop. Live viewing can be done from one camera up to 25 cameras at a time. So you do get the ability to multi-grid out cameras. That can be from one location or it can be from multiple locations, and you can blend your views at any time. It's very customizable. All the management, camera settings, system settings, it's done from one of these two interfaces. So you're not having to remember more than either the desktop or the app. And most of the menus are almost identical when you get into the configuration settings. Instant alerts are automatically programmed. We do push alert notifications for video events or for system health events, or emails are still available if you prefer that method. Offloading video is very easy. Pick the event. We offload in standard file formats of .mp4, .mov, and you get unlimited user credentials in terms of how many you can create, each one with unique permissions, so you can really get granular on how you manage access. Lastly, we like to point out we have a remote access support option. So we do have our own tech support team here in Austin. We are more than willing to support you as well as your end user. That remote access allows us to request the customer to turn on what we like to call like a help desk feature. When that's turned on, our support staff's enabled to tunnel into the platform without asking for credentials. That way their system stays secure. They can go in, find out what's not working, make changes if that's all that's required, and then we tell them turn that back off. That means that they don't have a full-time backdoor into the platform, but it's there in case they want our assistance. So the next couple of slides, we're going to walk you through a couple of screenshots from the interface, just to show you kind of the layout and how easy it is and what we offer. So when you log into the desktop client, you get a welcome page dashboard. The dashboard is a quick look at what your system is and what's taking place. You see zones marked here. So zones are how we separate out cameras. A zone can be a single location with all cameras, or it could be a single location with different areas of the building for quick references, or this is where you can locate multiple locations. Cameras can be from multiple locations and they can be in different zones together. So you don't have to group them based upon physical location of the solution. Your event tab is a quick real-time dashboard on what's taking place for smart detections. We list those out by the detection type, and each one of these does have an expandable menu. So as you click on the arrows to the right of those, you're going to see the events that took place. We'll list the camera, and hyperlinks are created to take you to the recorded footage, so you can get there quickly if you want to make sure that it's relevant or not. And then, of course, everyone wants to know the status of their system. This is a quick, easy way to determine are cameras online or offline? Are they recording? Are they not? And then you can, again, expand those menus and go directly to the camera setting page to determine what an issue might be or make changes if you don't like the way that the system is functioning. So to take you right into the live view, this is your live view page. It's very similar to other layouts and platforms we've already deployed. So the learning curve is usually pretty small if you're used to working with Alibi. All of your cameras and zones are tabbed out on a left pane tree, and then you have your grid. The grid can be selected and changed down on the bottom right for your multi-view windows, and this is a drag and drop functionality. So pick the camera you want. You'll see the thumbnail so you know exactly what camera you're going to pull up, drag it into a window. If you don't like that camera view or you want it somewhere else, you can drag that on the fly anywhere in the field to another matrix view grid, or you can just close it out by hitting the top right. Other things you can do, you'll notice a status bar. You can turn this on or off for your preference, but what it does allow you to do is see the camera itself, the recording status, as well as some information such as the real-time frame rate and bandwidth. As this is a cloud-based solution, bandwidth is always a conversation that comes up usually first when we talk about it. This gives you a real-time snapshot, so you know exactly what the camera's consuming. And that's great, because if you're going into a low bandwidth environment, you can really fine-tune the limitations per camera to make sure you're going to give the customer a solid, stable solution. The playback menu is designed to be fast, easy, very intuitive, and it allows you to get to relevant video very quickly. So depending upon your subscription plan, if this is a 7-day plan, if we've recorded for 7 days, all 7 days that are available are going to show up on the left-hand pane. In that, you'll see a number to the right. The number on the right indicates events that took place during that time frame. Those events then get translated to a timeline. So you'll see a highlighted bar showing you when video is recorded, and each little marker indicates events took place on that time of the day. As you hover your mouse over those, it's going to actually tell you an expansion list of the events that took place, how many, and then you can move it over and get to that. You can shrink and expand that line to get down to, say, a 1 minute versus, say, 1 hour or 1 day. And then when you find the relevant video, the export button's right on the right-hand side of the screen. Click export, you get a start and end marker. Slide those to create the clip that you want. Click the export button, video's offloaded right then and there. It's very, very fast. If you're trying to get even more tied into the timeline, you can click the filter button. The filter button then allows you to choose which events you want to show up on the timeline in general, or if you're really concerned about areas of interest in a field of view, you can turn on the smart lookup feature. The smart lookup feature grids out the field of view. You draw boxes on where you're interested in seeing if events took place. Then the timeline will instantly change. Usually takes about a second or two to cover a very large period of time, usually 24 hours. On that timeline then, you'll see highlighted marker events and event tabs. That way you know, I saw events took place, but they only happened in this particular point of field of view on the camera, so you can get to that video faster. No one likes to spend hours on end trying to find video footage to get off for evidence. So this is a great way to get it as quickly as possible. The last menu that we'll walk through in the desktop client is the configuration setting menu. So as we mentioned, all the configuration is done from one of the two interfaces, whether the desktop or the mobile app. This configuration menu is the most encompassing. This is where you're going to get all of your camera listings, recording options. You're going to get detection areas, as well as your schedule settings, camera level settings. It's all programmed here. The menu we're showing here is the camera information page. To make it easier on customers and to work in unison with another unique feature, there's some preset modes. The default mode is armed. The armed mode is going to get you recording on and notifications on a 24/7 basis. The modes can then change from silent, where recording's on but no notifications are sent, to fully disarmed, or if you really want to customize when you're recording or when alerts are sent, you can set up a customized schedule. This works in unison with a feature in the mobile app called geofencing. So if you are, say, doing a residential install, you put a camera inside the customer's house, you can set a geofencing rule for that one camera that when they come home, that camera goes to a disarm status. So you're not recording, they're not getting alerts. Obviously, they may not want to record themselves, and you may not want to get a push alert every time they walk through the living room. So it's a really nice feature. It sets some canned rules up for you. The scheduled setting on the next slide here, will just show you it's all slider bar mentality. So there's not a lot of additional logic you have to program. You choose the time frame on when you want to record. You also choose the time frame on when you want notifications to happen. You can turn on additional expansion menus, which allow you to then set alert types at different times of the day on a per alert basis. So for instance, this camera here has smart detections turned on, and it also has infrared detection from a built-in PIR sensor. If I only want PIR from a certain time of the day, I would set that differently than I would this, and then the alert schedule takes place as soon as you save the settings. Lastly, credential management. This is one of the most powerful and biggest advantages to a cloud-based platform. So the admin is created by us whenever we set up the original account for deployment. After that, the admin would come in and they create user credentials in the desktop client. Credentials are unlimited. We use secure email addresses as the credential for every user that's made. But as you can see, you actually get to set rights on a per feature basis. Once you set those rights, you can move and you can schedule when they have access to the system. Then you can go even one further and say you have these permissions, but you can only see certain cameras. So it's really great when you have a lot of users, but you also want to limit what they can and can't do, especially if you're in a multi-site deployment and you only want, say, a store manager to have access to their store. You can limit that very easily from here. The other benefit for this is there's two features that you can do immediately. One, if that person's no longer employed for that deployment, the admin comes in, deletes their credential, they immediately lose access the next time they try to log in. The credential stored in the cloud is not stored on a specific device. So therefore, you don't have to worry about making a change multiple places, and it happens instantaneously. Or if there's something funny going on, you notice there's a trend of maybe changes taking place, you can come in and you can temporarily block this user without deleting them. They immediately lose access, then you can do an individual log audit trail to see what they were trying to do with the system. Once you figure it out, deem it to be okay, you can then unblock the user, they get access again right away. The second experience we have is mobile. So with the desktop client, you get a mobile app. The mobile app can pretty much do everything the desktop client can do with a few exceptions. You still get all your zones listed out. You can still see the cameras. We are limited to one camera stream at a time in the mobile app for live view and playback, and that is due to just resources. We're bringing in megapixel video. We won't want to overtax the CPU of the phone, so therefore it's one camera. But in the playback menu, you'll still see you get the same slider bar mentality. It's vertical versus horizontal, but you still get events tabbed out on the right to make sure you're getting to that video fast. Configuration can be done the same way. The only features you can't configure from the mobile app itself are going to be creating users and making permissions, and then setting up predefined zones. So if you wanted to change the detection area in the field of view, you got to go back to the desktop client. But other than that, you can do full administration from in terms of resolution, recording, bitrate control, firmware updates. It can all be controlled from the mobile app itself. So it's a very powerful mobile experience. So now that we've walked through kind of the platform itself, we'll talk about account creation. And this is where it gets really simple. So when you're ready to sell the solution, call up your salesman. You've already picked number of cameras. You've already picked a subscription plan that you've talked with your customer, and you place your order with us. With that order, we get the information, and the only thing additional we need from you is we need to know who's going to administer the system. So we need a first name, a last name, and a valid email. That's how we set up an account. If the end user is going to be self-administering the entire platform, we would need their information in that field, and then they would be the full administrator that would create all the other rules and accounts. If you're going to be administering this for the customer as part of an additional fee or service, you would just need to provide us with whoever on your staff is going to be the administrator. The email address does need to be a valid email address because we do send that out as a welcome. So once we get this in there, we set the subscription for resolution, number of cameras. A couple of emails get automatically triggered from our system. One, you'll get emails from the ordering system telling you everything's been processed. Two, you'll get an email from the Alibi Cloud VS platform to the admin. That admin instruction email is going to give them a couple of things. It'll say, welcome to the platform. It'll tell them where to get the client software on the mobile app. And it will also give them an automatically generated temporary password with a recommendation to change it after the install. Once they get that email, you're basically ready to go on site, get cameras installed, activate them to the account, and get the system online and rolling. It's a very fast process. So once the system is installed, let's talk about account management. So there is a recurring aspect to this, a monthly billing subscription, and we do bill monthly. We offer two ways to do that for you. The first is fully managed. So with fully managed, we're going to take on all the billing and administration activities. We're going to invoice the customer, and we're going to do the collection for you. To do that, subscriptions are going to be billed at a set MAP price. Costs are then covered by the customer, and we send you a check based upon how many accounts you have set up with us on a regular basis. The big benefit for this is if you're not really in depth on recurring billing services, you don't have to build out new infrastructure in your organization to take on this product. We will take all that operational aspect out of the equation so you can do what you do best, build, sell video, install it, get it up and running, leave all the headache for us on collecting the money, and you basically sit back and just get the check in the mail. We do realize that there are people that already do billing services and they want to own that end-to-end experience. No problem. We'll do self-administered billing as well. You would manage all of the billing collections to the customer. We would essentially just send you a bill for all the accounts you have set up. You pay us, customer pays you. The big benefit for you, you've already got the system in place. You don't have to change anything. Two, you can bundle this. So for instance, if you want to go in with a single price for both intrusion and for video, you can bundle that into a sealed package. You set the price and you control that to the market. It's a little bit more flexible on your end. But either way, it's fine with us. We're here to provide the service, and we want to make sure it's as easy as possible. So why would your customer want to look at a cloud-based solution? So right out of the gate, we'll talk about just the cost of ownership. We're going to reduce the upfront hardware cost. So whenever you're going in to pitch a video solution, there's always going to be hardware that has to be sold. Without the need for an on-site recorder, the overall equipment cost is already reduced right out of the gate. Two, they're not going to have to invest in securing that recorder. They don't have to put it in a climate-controlled room. They don't have to worry about dust. They don't have to worry about physical access for someone taking that. And they don't have to worry about possibly building a big storage server for the capacity that they need, which then leads right into lower maintenance. So without the extra hardware, without the extra room that they may have to create for this, the IT staff that's on site isn't going to have to worry about maintaining this. They don't have to worry about checking it. Is the hard drive online? Has the hard drive failed? Are we recording? Has anyone actually gotten into the room? Has someone unplugged the recorder power supply? All that's eliminated because the server's not on site, which also then leads into your enhanced security. So we're going to eliminate the risk of failure of that recording device. Obviously, we get a lot of requests from people saying, what do I do if someone breaks into my building and they steal my recorder? Well, there's no recorder to steal. And while there are cameras that are part of the system and they may be damaged if someone tries to beat those cameras up and damage them, the video footage is secure. It's not on site. It can't be tampered with. So you're going to have evidence up to the point of camera failure without worried about the evidence being lost. And right now, with that enhanced security comes cybersecurity. So this is a secure transmission to the cloud. We don't require any firewall rules. We use outbound port rules only, and access is all done from customer to data center, not customer directly to the camera site. So it makes it a lot easier, one, for updates, but two, just to make sure you're not having to create any possible known vulnerabilities to the customer's network. And then the unparalleled access. We mentioned concurrent users and access. One thing about the system is we do need bandwidth to get the cameras to the cloud, but when someone's accessing that camera off-site, they're not pulling multiple streams from that location. They're pulling it from the data center. So bandwidth isn't going to be a huge requirement depending upon the number of users you have just to get access to the system. And view a limited number of cameras across multiple sites, anywhere, anytime. That's the mentality when you move to this. And then the scalability. We sell on-premise recorders, and they work great for a lot of solutions. But if someone is not sure about their overall deployment, you kind of have to worry about future-proofing that hardware sale. A lot of recorders have preset, channels. So if I sell, say, an 8-channel solution today, and they want cameras 9 and 10, when you go back to do that, not only are you having to convince them to buy new cameras, you're having to convince them to buy a new head end because you didn't put in the 16-channel that can handle the additional, support for those cameras in the future. This is virtual. So as you want to add a camera, we just change the license, change the subscription. Cameras can be added at any time. So benefits for you and why we want it. Well, number one, there's still a lot of money to be made in this, both on hardware and the software. So you still have cameras to provide for the solution. So you're not losing the opportunity to make some upfront money on the install. You also get to install the cameras. So there's installation services. As part of that, we're hoping that the dollar per install gets higher for you because we're going to reduce your installation time without having to secure the recorder, program it, make sure that it's on site in a lockbox in a room, wherever it may be. There's less to install, less to configure. So your tech should spend less time at the site, making it more worth your time. And then the service costs. No one likes to get trucks on site. It's costly. So if an on-site recorder fails, or say you want to do a firmware update, you probably have to roll someone out to that location to check on what's going on, load the firmware on a secure USB, and make sure that everything's up and operational. We do that all remotely from the client applications. We do it from our tech support staff here. We'll log in and make sure the system's on for you. It just allows you to make sure that you're not having to go back for very minimal things that may or may not be an issue. And as you walk through the interface, and I greatly encourage you to do a live demo after this with a sales rep, the training requirements are extremely low. The application is very easy to use. It's very intuitive. There are wizards built in. Actually, when you set up a system for adding devices, that way people that have not been very well, familiarized with the platform, it's going to help walk you through the initial steps to make sure it's online. And lastly, generate more revenue. If you're new to RMR, or if you have been an RMR, this is a way to augment your business, supplement, get some new revenue coming in from a video solution, which is an area a lot of people have not had the opportunity to do. And it is a growing market. So we want to enable you to get that. So some common applications, we're getting asked daily for complete cloud solutions. A lot of industry, customers are moving directly to cloud. For instance, personally, we've moved to a cloud-based infrastructure. So it's a natural progression to remove video and servers on site to be remotely managed and stored. It's just something that is growing every single day. Supplementary camera applications. There may be applications that just don't fit the cloud. That could be due to low ISP bandwidth speeds, or it could be sheer number of cameras. If you have a customer that needs 50 cameras installed on premise, that's going to be pretty difficult to stream on a full-time basis up to a data center. But you may have a handful of cameras that they have, a compliance requirement for, that they need 90 or 180 days. Put in a hybrid solution, do an on-premise solution for general security, put in a couple of cloud cameras to cover the areas that have to meet the compliance. They may be completely separate, but it also ensures they're meeting their compliance rules. They're also keeping it in a secure site, and it also segments those cameras so they can't be altered and manipulated by anyone on the main system. Multi-site installations is a great application. Retail is a great one. If you've got retail loss prevention managers across the country, you can manage your credentials and access from one central location. You don't have to set up an additional central server to do credential management for individual recorders on site. You don't have to install client rules on each person's computer. It's all a global system setting directly from this. Daycares is a great one for this in terms of multi-site, multi-user. So if you say you have a daycare center, and you want to grant parents access to see their children while they're in a certain room. As soon as they register, you sign them up, they have access. We can have unlimited numbers of users and unlimited people logging in. If they unenroll their child after 6 months, the admin can simply go and delete the credential and they lose access right away. So you're not making the system unsecure for the other families that are paying for the daycare service. I mentioned compliance. Compliance is a good one. Because we record and we base the plans on 24/7, we're going to meet those requirements, retention requirements for long-term storage. Cannabis is a great one. Cannabis has rules around 45 to 90-day retention times. We will guarantee you get 45 or 90 days in those periods based upon the way the system, specifies out the hard drive requirements. So lastly, just to round up what we've done for the product. So we've got a lot of sales and marketing tools that our team has created for you. One, to learn about the product yourself, but to help convince your customers that this is a great solution for them. With sales support, we've got full brochures created on the platform itself. We have product data sheets on the individual cameras that are supported for this. Those are actually branded for Alibi. They can be rebranded very easily on our Power League websites. So if you're not familiar with our dealer program, again, please reach out to a salesman after this and learn about it. We do some very unique things to help put your business out in front of people in the market so that they see you. We want you to be found. In terms of the marketing support, we've created a great total cost of ownership calculation that you can show to your customer to show why it would make sense long-term to invest in a cloud-based platform. And then for you, profitability calculator. We're here to make money. You're here to make money. We're going to show you how you can make money with this so you can understand kind of why you would want to start promoting this for the right solution. And lastly, what's next? So after this, please check your mailbox. We're going to send out an email that includes a presentation, links to all the online content resources we've talked about. And please go online and visit our website. It's alibisecurity.com. On the top banner page, you're going to see an Alibi Cloud VS platform kind of menu option that will take you into all of the resources we've talked about, show you more about the supported cameras, and that camera list will be growing over the coming months. And then lastly, please call salesman and get a live demo. The still shots we showed are pretty easy and intuitive to kind of see what it looks like, but you'll be very surprised and hopefully amazed at how easy it is to use and how powerful the solution can be when you see it live for the first time. So now we'll open up kind of a short Q&A on what was asked and the questions here. So the first question is, why cloud now? Well, I would say now is a relative term. We've been researching cloud for the past 2 years, and we've tested a number of platforms trying to find the right partner and the right fit for one that we believe is, one, ready for deployment for the mainstream, two, secure, and three, a partner that we know is going to continue to help us drive growth in this segment and with features when it comes to it. So, we've been working with Eagle Eye for some time now. We feel that we've got the right partnership in place to help do that. They're a leader in the market for a reason, and we're hopefully going to grow together. But mainly, why cloud now, and why are we bringing it to market now? It's because you're asking for it. We hear about it on a regular basis. What can I do to get cameras stored offsite? How do I get centralized user control for multi-site deployments? Those are things that just make sense in a cloud environment compared to an on-premise environment. So we're proud to bring that to market at this point in time. How does this impact Alibi's traditional CCTV offering? Well, it impacts it as it expands it. Traditional security still has a place in the market. We're still going to offer on-premise solutions. There's still a very valid use case on why you would want a recorder on site. Cloud is an option. It's a very viable option, and it can fit into a lot of business segments, but we're not going to believe that everyone's ready to make that jump quite yet to where everything is in the cloud. So it's going to be a supplemental offering that helps expand your option into the video market. So you'll continue to see us grow in both on-premise and off-premise solutions over the coming years. How does this compare with other cloud solutions? So there's a handful of competitors out there, and the numbers are going to continue to grow. Clouds, obviously, there's a lot of money to be made in the cloud. We're a little different. So we're a true camera to cloud solution. So the camera stream directly to the server. There's no on-site capture device. There is no on-site kind of PC or client machine that has to filter the video first to get it up there. So number one, the video gets delivered very quickly because there's nothing in the middle. It's a direct stream to the cloud. We capture full frame video and we offer 24/7 recording. A lot of competitors don't do that. They will store in video clips only, and for certain time segments of the event. Sometimes they will send snapshots. Others store directly on, say, on camera, and then if you want it in the cloud, while they say they're cloud-based, you have to request the video to be stored in the cloud. So it's not an automatic, secure offsite, storage platform. The other benefit is this is a standalone product. So while we will continue to work and we'll try to integrate this with other platforms in the market, there's no need to bundle this with other offerings or have a fear that if I want to change one aspect of my system, say my intrusion panel, you don't have to worry about the video being lost because the video is going to stand on its own. And we also don't require any contracts or commitments. So this is a true month-by-month billing mechanism. You can sign up, and you can sign up a customer for, say, a year or 2 years or 3 years, but we're not going to bind you into a contract for the platform. So it's a month-to-month basis. It can be added, it can be canceled at any time, and that makes it pretty easy for you to jump in and jump out. Do I need to open a firewall or other rules to discover camera names? No. So we require no firewall rules in place most of the time. I will never say never, because you may have very secure firewalls in place in some very big corporate establishments. At that point, we may need to open up a couple of outbound rules only, but it is an outbound rule only, which will usually comply with all IT cybersecurity standards. The camera discovery is done on the LAN. So while we are communicating to the cloud, whenever you're first installing the camera, the installer does need to be on site with either a mobile phone or a laptop PC connected on the same leg segment, and we will then discover the camera once it's plugged in and powered on. Camera names and addresses, the cameras go out on DHCP, they grab the address, we'll find it, and once it's added, then that communication begins to the cloud server. If I want to revert back to a traditional CCTV system, can I use the same cameras? Yes, so the cameras are traditional security IP cameras. There is very specific firmware loaded on them for this solution that will only allow it to communicate with the cloud. But if it does come down to it, we can get you firmware that would turn them back into ONDIF compliant IP cameras, and then they can be rolled into any other platform that you may want. The big benefit for you is you're not going to have to go out and rip and replace hardware at the edge if someone decides that cloud just isn't for them after you put it in. How long does it take to set up an account? Account creation is very, very fast and easy. So we typically like to give you like a 24-hour to 72-hour window. Once you place the order, the information comes into the admin portal, and we get notifications to set up the user, the admin, I should say the original admin user. Typically that'll be done same day, but depending on the time of day, whether it's a Friday or a Monday, it may take us a couple of days to get into that system to add it on. But the email will be sent letting you know that everything's been finalized, so that way you're not going on site, say, without knowing if the system is set up or not. So there should be enough notification during the process, so you're not trying to get out there before everything is set up and ready to go. What network requirements do I need to think about when considering cloud? The biggest requirement is going to be upload speed at the install location. So these cameras do stream on a full-time basis. The system is built in with governing rules. So you can limit a camera to as low as 128 kilobits per second up to a 2 megabit per second max range. And that will fluctuate based upon, one, availability, two, the subscription plan you've chosen between 720p or 1080p, and the frame rate desired for the solution. So if you've got a lower bandwidth environment, but this makes sense for them, you're just going to want to make sure that you balance the settings of resolution, frame rate on the subscription plan along with that bit rate. You're not going to drop video if bandwidth needs to be higher. So if you choose 1080p, 20 frames, and you don't have the bandwidth, we'll still get the video to the cloud. We'll still store the video. At that point, you may be trading a little bit of quality because you need more bit rate to get the stream up, but it will still function and work. But that's all customizable as you're putting the cameras in. And as we showed you on the live view dashboard, you can see real-time bandwidth usage. So you kind of know where you need to set that limit based upon the field of view for each camera. What if I lose internet connectivity? So one, if you're losing internet connectivity, you probably have bigger issues than just the internet going down. Most of the time when internet is lost, it's usually due to a power surge, power outage, rolling blackouts, whatever it may be. You're going to lose more than just the security system. So if it does go down, we do stop streaming to the cloud. So that is an issue for us based upon internet availability not being there. But at that point, most businesses are going to be trying to get other things up and running. So if I lose internet connectivity in salmon retail, I probably can't process any transactions because most of my databases are going to be stored in a cloud-based payment system. My phone system may not work if I'm using VoIP. So this is going to be one of many, many deployed platforms in a business that would kind of fall into the same pitfalls that other devices would have if the internet actually is lost. So yeah, it's always a vulnerability and risk, but it's also a risk for a lot of other business operation platforms that are going to be installed at a customer site. Who makes the Alibi Cloud cameras? Currently, the cameras we're deploying today are provided by Eagle Eye. These are Eagle Eye provided cameras, and that is a kind of a start launch. We have 4 models to choose from. That model is going to be expanded over the next probably 4 to 6 months, but you'll see the cameras grow. And it'll be from a multitude of form factors, multitude of resolutions between 720p, 1080p with different capabilities. So expect to see more in the future on that. So running out of time here, so we'll move on to the next slide here. So after this demonstration, we have a limited time offer for you. We want you to try this platform. We want you to get it in your hands. We want you to get used to it. We want you to see it. So after this, there's a 20% off of any Alibi Cloud camera that you want to set up as a demo account. Call in, talk to your salesman. They'll get you the right form factor on what they think would be best for you to set up in your location for a demo platform. But please call in. We'll give you a really good deal to get it in your hands so you can play with it and make sure you get used to all the client software. For the live demo, the number's provided here. It'll be emailed out as well. But call in, talk to an account manager, and just tell them that you attended the presentation today and that you're ready and willing to see a live demo on the platform so that you can continue on and get used to everything that you need. And thank you for attending today. Thank you for the opportunity, and we look forward to working with you in the future with Alibi Cloud VS.